Today we are installing BD staging limiter on our 2011 Chevrolet LML. Now, what is BD staging limiter? BD staging limiter is actually two modules in one. It is BD's very popular module out right now called the throttle sensitivity booster. It is the throttle sensitivity booster, and it is also the staging limiter. What is the staging limiter? The staging limiter is for you guys that like to drag race. And what the box does is the box is actually going to give you three different parameters that you can fine tune on your truck at the starting line to be able to help lower your ETs, lower your reaction times, and it's just going to make your drag racing experience a whole lot more dialed in per se. So what it does, just in stock form, it is going to be throttle based. So what you do is you install it on the truck, and then you set your throttle. Your throttle will be all the way on the floor. You just dial your throttle in until you start breaking through the stall or your tires break loose, and then dial it back just a little bit so that you will know that that is the max. It will set your throttle, even though your throttle's on the floor. You're still going to be just right at that breaking point of the tires breaking loose. So when you're at the line, you don't have to worry about where your throttle needs to be. You can be right on the floor and know exactly where the truck needs to be for your best reaction time and hopefully lowering your ETs. Now you can also use this based off of boost signal. There's a wire that comes with that, or you can pick up an RPM signal if you want to launch at a certain RPM. You can do that by picking it up off the camera crank position sensor, and the instructions that BD includes inside the box will help you to do that. So what is it again? What is it? It is just to make your drag racing experience easier and to help dial in your times and to just overall give you help your times out. So the BD staging limiter, a word about the module itself. Now the module comes with your wiring harness. This hooks up at your APPS sensor. I did a couple of things on this truck. We're going to be hooking up a power wire on the brake switch, so I already installed my posi tap on that. I'm going to be picking up a body ground, so I put a ring terminal on that as well. So that's got my wiring harness set up. Now my signal wire, the signal wire that comes inside the kit, this is going to be used for you guys that want to pick up RPM, again, off camera crank, or boost signal off you can use boost pressure sensor, or you pick it off your electronic boost pressure sensor wire, or you can use the map sensor, and again, consult the instructions as to where that you will pick up those reference signals. Then the module itself. The module itself, the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're actually going to have to do a pedal learn position to get the throttle sensitivity booster dialed in. So what we want to do is, BD includes a handy dandy little screwdriver that comes along with it. So take your screwdriver and the two catches that are on the module box itself. We just want to put the flat tip screwdriver in there and push it down, then pull the circuit board out. On the circuit board itself, you will see that there's a couple different switches here. There's your learn pedal switch that we will use when we go to learn the pedal position for the throttle sensitivity booster. Then mark switch 1, mark switch 2, and mark switch 3. Switch number 1, you will use this for what parameter that you want the throttle sensitivity booster, the staging limiter to work at. I'm sorry, I got tripped up there. So switch number 1, if you want the staging limiter to work off a throttle position, it's going to be position number 1 on the switch. Position number 2 will be if you're going to pick up RPM signal for the staging limiter to work off of, and position number 3 will be the boost signal. Then switch number 2, if you're going to be working off of RPM, which is position number 2, then you will have to consult your RPM or your camera crank signal wire to see what hertz that runs at, and then you will pick those up. There's 3 different hertz positions there. Again, consult the manual on that. Switch number 3 is for the throttle sensitivity booster itself. Switch number 3 on the number 1 position is going to be stock throttle sensitivity. Position number 2 is going to be 50% increased sensitivity, and position number 3 is going to be 100% increased sensitivity. All 3 of these switches during the learn process need to be in the number 1 position. Again, the number 1 position. So we're going to leave this circuit board out for the first part of our installation so we can gain access to it. Before we get started, we want to disconnect the negative cables of our batteries again, because we're working with an electrical connector. Then we're going to go ahead and get started with our installation. Okay, first thing I'm going to do on my installation is I'm going to actually remove the lower dash cover here. And what this is going to allow me to do is this is going to allow me to find a good body ground, which I'm going to use on this truck. So on these LMLs on this 2011, there are 2 Phillips screws on either side here. And then there's a 10 metric bolt. So we'll go ahead and pull our Phillips head screws out. Now this is not a necessary step. You can totally do this installation without pulling the dash panel off, but for me it's just going to be easier for me to get to the body ground. So now we're going to be removing the 10 metric bolt out of the dash cover. I like to take the fuse panel cover off as well. Just pop it right straight out. And then I'm going to just simply pull back on the dash panel very gently, popping it loose. Then I will unhook my trailer brake controller. And that will give us a little bit more exposure to our lower steering column there. To begin our installation of our staging limiter, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to hook up at the APPS sensor. On the 2011 Chevrolets, the APPS sensor, and on most of the trucks, that your APPS sensor is going to be located above your accelerator. Now I've got an LED light on our APPS sensor that is on this Chevrolet. I've zoomed in on it there. You can see the white safety catch on the wiring harness itself. So we just slide that back and then disconnect the harness, or disconnect the sensor. And then simply unhook it. And now you will hook in the BD harness itself. So the BD harness is going to piggyback there onto it. So we will hook the male end up to the factory harness. The female end will go back to the sensor itself. And then push the lock back. Just like so. In hooking up our staging limiter, the first electrical connection that we're going to make is at the APPS sensor. Now, most of the trucks that you're going to deal with, the APPS sensor is going to be attached to or somewhere in close proximity to the accelerator itself, except on some of the older model Dodges, which will actually be the bell crank sensor out on the engine. But again, that'll be identified in your instructions. So for this installation, our APPS sensor is again attached to our accelerator. I'm going to zoom in on that, and you can see coming in the frame, there's a white catch on the connector. You just simply, to disconnect the wiring harness, you just simply slide that connector straight back and then push and disconnect the stock harness. Now, to install the BD harness, it will just piggyback back to the stock harness. So the male side of the BD will go into the engine harness, and then the BD harness will connect, the female side will connect back to the APPS itself, slide the lock in, and then we've got our APPS sensor installed. The next connection that we're going to make for our BD staging limiter is at the brake switch. So find your brake pedal here and follow it to the top, and your brake switch will be attached to that. There's a sensor at the top of that. Just unplug the harness. It's behind that harness so you couldn't see it really well. Then we will be getting our power wire from as you see here, from the BD staging box, we're going to posi tap that into the blue and white wire for this application for our 2011. Again, consult your manual for which wire that you will need to attach to for your power source from your body control module, or as with this one, it will be actually at the brake light switch. Here is a shot of the posi tap, if you can see that, onto the brake light switch wire. See if I can get a light on it. There. So there's our posi tap onto the blue and white brake switch wire. Now we just simply install the harness back to the brake switch. And then our next connection is going to be our ground. This ground, we're actually going to run to a body ground. I found a suitable one inside of the column there that would be all metal, that will make a great ground for this. Again, consult your manual. It may want you to go to body control, one of the body control module grounds, or it will simply tell you to take it to a body ground. But this one we are going to take to a body ground. So now we are going to learn our pedal position on our staging limiter. So the way that we do that is, now that we have all of our wiring done, we have our exposed APP, or our exposed staging limiter circuit board. What you want to do is you want to hook that up to the harness. Okay. And once you turn the key on, the power light and the ready light will both illuminate. So what we're going to do now, and you can see the lights flashing there, hopefully. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hit the learn pedal button. And once we do that, we're going to fully depress the accelerator as many times as we can within 15 seconds. And once we do that, after 15 seconds, the active light will go out and the ready light will stay illuminated. Once we have that and the ready light stays illuminated and the active light is off, then the APP sensor has learned our pedal position. We're good to go. So now we're going to turn the power off. We're going to go to the circuit board here, and we're actually going to set up what we want. So switch number 1, we're going to be running off a throttle position, so we're going to leave it at the number 1 position. Switch number 2, nothing to do because we're not running from the RPM signal. If we were running from RPM signal, then we would adjust it accordingly. Switch number 3 is going to be the throttle sensitivity, where we want it. I'm going to put it at 50%, which is the number 2 position. Once I've done that, we're good to go. Now that that's done, I can put my case back on. And that's all that needs to be done. If any codes were set during the installation, you're going to want to clear them now. I know I've got a trailer brake code because I've got the trailer brake unhooked. So we're going to want to clear that. We're going to want to clear that now. I've run my switches that will be going into the bracket here, the potentiometer and the on-off switch. I've run these up high, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start putting my lower dash panel back on. All right, you just want to make sure that you hook your trailer brake controller back up. Okay, get this lined up here, everywhere. And just like taking it off before, we're going to want to, this left our wires down here, our staging controllers down here. So we're probably going to hook that bracket up somewhere around there. It does come with double-sided tape, so you can just stick the bracket anywhere that you want to, or you can drill it for a more permanent mount. Next thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to take your neat little BD sticker and put it on the bracket. So just remove the sticky tape and place it on the bracket. Which I will try to do without screwing it up. Okay, like that there. So we've got our switches installed now. This is self-explanatory. There's a simple Allen screw on the back of this. You'll put that through the bracket and then pop take the wires off the back of the on-off switch, put them in. We've cleaned all of our other installation up. We're pretty much done. Now we're going to test the functionality of our staging limiter. So to use your staging limiter, and we've got it set up again on throttle. So what we're going to do is you've got to have your foot on the brake, turn the switch on. Now to see if the switch or if the staging limiter is working, press the throttle all the way to the floor. Throttle all the way to the floor, you can see we have no change in RPMs. This potentiometer, this is a 10-turn potentiometer, meaning it will make 10 full revolutions, so it's pretty finite on its adjustments. So what we're going to do is I've got the accelerator all the way on the floor, I've got my foot on the brake, I'm going to start turning the potentiometer up. About 3 or 4 turns. So now you can hear now, and you can see that the RPMs are coming up. So we're getting there. Truck's starting to try to break through the brakes. About 1,350 RPMs. She's wanting to go now. I'm going to take it all the way till it breaks through the brakes. Okay, right there. All right, so that's where I want it. I'm going to dial it back just a little bit. So now, with my foot on the brake, I should be able to put the throttle all the way to the floor, and we should just be holding. A little bit more. There it is. That right there. So now, we're at the track. Throttle, go. Okay, so that's the BD staging limiter. With it off, the throttle sensitivity booster is still fully functional. You will really enjoy the throttle sensitivity booster. The drive-by wire on the LMLs is terrible. It is one of the biggest complaints that we got about this truck. Even with the staging limiter off, the throttle sensitivity booster is working. So this has been the installation of our BD staging limiter for our LML Chevrolet. If you have a question on this installation or any of our other installations, just give us a call. Thank you.